everybody. How are you doing? Okay, let's see a show of hands. One finger if you're like, meh, need some coffee. And 5 fingers if you're like, oh, this is the greatest day in my life. Okay, let me really see your hands. All right. No meh, nobody needs coffee. Okay, this is looking good. Great, thank you. Okay, I'm here to talk to you guys about AI, humanness, and hopeful futures. I'm all about hopeful futures. What about you guys? Are you about hopeful futures? What we're going to do here today is we're going to create the future in the 70 next years for cybersecurity. Are you hopeful about that? Let's see a show of hands. Meh, I need some coffee for the future of cybersecurity. 5, like, oh, it's the greatest thing in 7 years. 2, 4, come on, guys. Everybody has an opinion. In 7 years, 2092, what is it going to look like? 2, 3, 5, yes. What about there? All right, 3, 3.5 maybe, 4, 5. Okay, I would say that the average is pretty good. What about you guys? But no meh. Okay, good. Hey, looks like we're like mildly positive. Is that right? Mildly positive. Okay, great. Is it that we're mildly positive because we lack positive visions? Could it be? It seems like in the world right now, we are lacking positive visions. I'm sure you all know some younger people, maybe have kids or younger friends or cousins or something. People who are under 20. I don't think we have many in this room. Right now, it looks like young adults are very depressed about our future. And 50% of them think that the world will end in their lifetime. I don't think any of us felt that way when we were in our early 20s or teens. So something's different. And these are the people that are supposed to build the future for us. These are the people that build the future in 2092. And I would like them to build a hopeful future. So this is my mission. I want to change this. I want all young people, and I also would like you to feel that the future is hopeful. And I would like everybody to experience hopeful futures so that we could envision what it looks like when things are good in the future, so that we would know what to do today. So during the pandemic, I held hundreds of award dinners in the future in 2092. And I gave people prizes for saving the world in 2092. And they held speeches of how they saved the world, what they did to get the prize. And I found out that I had these dinners all over the world, somewhere virtual and somewhere live, some really nice dinners. I had a dinner at Richard Branson's island. And I also had virtual dinners with women in Afghanistan. And I learned that everybody had a feeling that they could save the world if it just was possible. They all had a passion to do that. The greatest thing about feeling hopeful about the future is that it's a positive loop. That it reinforces itself. Research shows that just believing in a good future creates a good future for you personally. It gives you more, it extends your life, gives you more years. At minimum, if you have a high education and you have a lot of money, at minimum, when you believe in a good future, you get 5 years more. If you don't have so much money and not so much education, you might get even 35 years more. Just believing in a good future. The good future doesn't even have to happen. So there's no reason. It's better than quitting smoking or start jogging today. I recommend to everybody believe in a good future. So how do you then create a good future? Here's a really great example. I don't know how many of you know the Jetsons TV series. Is there somebody who doesn't know the Jetsons? Okay. It was a TV series in the 60s, and it portrayed a family, a cartoon. It portrayed a family that lived in the future. They had flying cars. And interestingly, this Jetsons series was inspired by a mini cartoon by the automobile industry in the 50s. So it was actually the automobile industry that created themselves this Jetsons series. And they showed a lot of really great innovations that were going to happen along the way to 2062, where these Jetsons lived. They lived in the future in 2062, 100 years from when it was created. In that TV series, they showed digital newspapers. This is 2022 and 1962. Looks pretty much the same, right? Video calls, and we're ahead of time here. They thought that this would happen in 2062, but we already have it here now. Service robots, it's happening, and this is very typical to technology, that it can and often happens earlier than what you predict that it's going to happen. How technology works is that it starts slowly, and you often get frustrated and you think it's not going to happen if you work with technology, because it happens, the impact happens so slowly. But when it then starts going, it often happens much faster than what we humans predict. And this happened with Jetsons. Telehealth, they all knew about it in already 1960. So there's no reason why we couldn't predict the future. We just need visions. So what we're going to do today is we're going to envision the future of cybersecurity. I'm working on a TV series that imagines different kinds of worlds. It's a TV series sort of like a Black Mirror, but it's White Mirror, because I'm all about hopeful futures. And one of the futures in there, it depicts 8 different futures, and one of the futures there could be the future of cybersecurity. What do you think that could look like? 7 years from now? No idea. Okay. Well, I have as a futurist, I have suitcases full of different futurist tools. And one of the tools is thinking about megatrends. So I think one of the megatrends that is really going to affect what the future of cybersecurity is going to look like is AI. There's not going to be cybersecurity without AI. My background is in AI already from the 80s when I did fuzzy logic and neural networks. And to me, it's so clear that that is where the future is going. What is interesting is that AI is much more human than what we give it credit today. The algorithms are created by humans. They are human by nature. And they serve humans. And that's really going to affect what the future is going to look like. The future is going to be much more human than what we imagine. And there's a lot of talk about AI ethics today. In my opinion, it's all about human ethics. talking about AI ethics gives us another chance to think about what human ethics are all about in the future. And the lines between biological and digital are getting so blurred. I have a friend who is working on digitally designing viruses, live viruses, that are made to attack cancer cells. And in the future, there's maybe not going to be so clear line between computer digital viruses and actually biological viruses. Digital safety needs are going to be everywhere. It's not going to be contained as much as we have now. And an interesting thing thinking about security is that we're going to turn security into trust. And that's really clear because hope comes from trust. And the transparency that is so trendy right now to talk about in cybersecurity, I think that will be maybe more about, yes, there's going to be maybe open source and transparency, but with AI, we're never really going to know what AI does. So it's maybe going to be more about the outputs. Okay, now I was told that you guys can chat with your devices, right? And then there's some way we can see what you chat, because I would like to see from you what you think is going to happen. I created my own timeline, what's going to happen with cybersecurity in the future. The end result in 2092 is going to be that cyborgs, us humans, for me, cyborgs are very human. Cyborgs as humans, we're going to have a peace treaty. And cybersecurity is not going to be needed anymore. That's the end result. That's what it's going to look like in my world. What is it going to look like in your world? How do I get people to chat? How do I get the chats? How does that work? Yes. And then I cannot see at the same time my timeline, right?
No.
Or yeah. Okay. Okay, can you show me the timeline a bit more? Yeah, but can you show it to everybody?
Yes.
Thank you.
2 and 2.
Say it again.
Is this good?
Yes, this is perfect. Yeah, couldn't be more perfect. Thank you. Yay. Okay. Would you like to send to the chat some points in the timeline where you think something's going to happen in the future of cybersecurity? Some thoughts of it? I think that, for example, in 2061, we're going to have no fear systems. I think that in 2073, there's going to be an ethics committee that will approve trust DNA in us humans. And that actually created the Cyborg Peace Treaty in 2092. I think in 2026, there's going to be amazing growth in peer-to-peer networks because we need new open source business models. What do you think of that? What is your alternative for that? And then I think that the name, cybersecurity, will be combined with digital trust in 2031, and it will become cyber trust. What do you think of that? We're going to call cybersecurity cyber trust. And we're going to include any kind of digital safety, digital security in that. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen? then in 2035, there's going to be a completely new kind of good threat hunting bots. And the entire army of them is going to be created. Any thoughts on this? It's very silent in my chat. Anything? Would you like to say something? Any thoughts? Yeah.
Actually, I completely agree with the title. I see more dystopian, a Brave New World scenario. George Orwell doesn't feature very much in that thinking.
Okay, what would you like to add there?
I think that's quite a technological perspective on humanity that doesn't recognize that humans are capable of doing great and good things as well as
I love that.
equally doing things that aren't so good.
Lovely. So what is needed there?
I think what that lacks is that humans are hardwired to believe in something. They have beliefs. I don't see that in that thinking there.
Okay. So maybe in 2040, there's going to be some human belief breakthrough. Something that has to do with how our societies work together.
New ethical frameworks.
New ethical frameworks.
You know, we've been around. We've been writing for several thousand years and thinking for longer than that, and no new ethical frameworks have appeared in that time. So, I'm not. Probabilistically, I don't see that changing in the next 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else?
Sorry.
Well, I think there's one thing missing. Humans have already, thousands of years, every century, we have been fighting each other. There will be someday cyber world war.
Oh my gosh, that doesn't seem hopeful. I thought the cyborg peace treaty did it. Okay, so we add the world war there, because sometimes things need to go worse before they go better, right? Okay, great. Anybody else?
You talked about megatrends, and for me, one of the current megatrends that I think will shape the future is like crypto and crypto money tokens and free exchange. So my hope for the future is to have, like, in the next 20 to 30 years, a shift of the current stock market and banking system to be more close to the people and more maybe right.
Some sort of a new currency system?
Yeah, but not centralized, not maybe only
decentralized.
one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, heterogeneous, and so, yeah, diversity.
Okay. Anybody else?
We've had two dystopian views there, and I'm from Africa. And I can't see any positive outlook to addressing poverty at a global scale. From a European point of view, it's very easy to look forward with an altruistic viewpoint. Mm-hmm. But poverty is not going to be addressed through this worldview. I mean, if you look at Noah Harari's viewpoints in Homo Deus, it also just ignores how we're going to address the haves and the have-nots.
Okay, so some sort of a universal wealth system. Okay, but where do we put it? So 2040? Oh, this was hopeful thinking in the Jetsons way. It's going to happen earlier than what we think.
Pragmatism based on my 60 years.
So 2060? Okay, anybody else? Okay.
What about the overall development of humanity means overpopulation and so on? This will have a deep impact on everything, I guess.
So what was the solution that we needed for that? What's going to happen in the timeline?
I have no idea where this will actually lead into the into different cyber solutions. I think we have way more other problems if in 20 or 25 years than just cyber.
Okay, anybody else? This is the last one. One more spot to the timeline. Anybody? That's it? Okay. Thank you for entertaining the thinking of a little bit longer term. It is hard to do it because our brains are not created in a way that we could think easily long term. Because when we were cavemen, that was not needed. It was enough to be fearful of future settings, and that's why our brains are not created in a way that we could think hopeful thoughts. And thank you for adding to my timeline. I'm going to put new ideas there now. Thank you for that. I'm looking forward to learning more from you guys, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the future of cybersecurity will turn into cyber trust. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sari. Way to push us to think outside the box. Wow, that was fascinating. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you so much.